You know, I don't want there to be any hard feelings between us, Harvey. When you and, Rachel were being abducted, I was sitting in Gordon's cage. No, I didn't rig those charges.
Your man. Your plan.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I have a special video for you, an opinions video regarding certain recent events in the gaming industry regarding several corporations who do stupid shit with their games. And just like the Joker said that he is a dog chasing cars, these corporations, they are also dogs chasing cars. Why do I say this? Because these corporations, we're used to see them fail. We are used to see their games get destroyed, get released half-baked with the whole release now, fix later mentality. We see them even get sued over this mentality, and yet they do not learn from their failures. But here I'm going to highlight several examples of when these corporations actually have successful products. These are either, I'm going to talk about 3 games. One of them is Battlefield 2042 that managed to kind of redeem itself in the long run since its abysmal inception. We're going to talk about Helldivers 2 PSN debacle that you're probably aware of, and we're going to talk about one game that I honestly did not know that really had this kind of problem, and that is Tarkov with their absurd unheld edition. So let's get to it. So for the first example that I have for you today, let's talk about Battlefield 2042. The game launched in an abysmal state. It had many bugs. People were actually climbing the sides of skyscrapers with hover tanks or crashing into buildings with no damage to the airplane. People were actually firing entire magazines at other people and hitting nothing like air. It was like a Matrix movie. You actually felt like you were in a computer simulation where the physics are just unreal. Like it's not supposed to simulate the real world or anything. So the game was abysmal, and I'm going to showcase the Steam stats or the Steam charts right now. So as you can see, the game launched with 100,000 people, and it quickly dropped. So people thought that this game is going to be dead. And of course, EA did not explicitly say that they're taking responsibility over Battlefield 2042, but it seemed like over the years that they stuck around and they sat down to try and fix the game, try and add more content, make it more attractive, make it more fun, make it more diverse, not in terms of diversity, but in terms of the maps that you have, the weapons that you get, the vehicles that you can use. So it really looks like, from the side from someone who haven't bought the game at launch, that EA is trying to do a redemption arc for Battlefield 2042, much like the redemption arcs of, say, No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk. So it really looked like the game was on the verge of getting together. I actually did a video about this a few months back where I found out, I was surprised to find out how smooth the game run compared to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was an absolute chore of a game to play, with many packet bursts and packet losses and things like that that I had in Modern Warfare 2, and I also had that in Modern Warfare 1. This is a recurring theme for Activision servers, and they actually give a shit about it, and they are not trying to fix it. So it is a recurring theme in Call of Duty, which led me to buying Battlefield in order to get that mainstream casual multiplayer game, and I actually found it to be a very smooth game. Gameplay was okay, gunplay was okay, everything was okay. It's not the best multiplayer game ever, it's not the best multiplayer game on the market, but it is kinda okay, I guess. not worth the full price, but at a discount, sure. So, anyways, now EA, seeing how the community, let's say in October 2023, there were 107,000 players playing the game on Steam. In 2 months ago, on March 2024, 43,000 people were playing the game. So the community seemed to be getting back together, and just when they got back together, EA is delivering us this piece of news, which essentially means Season 7 is the last season this game is going to get major updates. This means no new maps, no new weapons, no new vehicles, no nothing. A live service game is essentially dead, and it's quite saddening to see it because the game was really on the verge of redeeming itself. Not a lot of people have bad things to say about this game. There are bad things to say about this game. Again, it is not perfect, it's not even close to being finished. And I also talked with other people who played the game, and they all said the same. It's such a shame to see that the game got so better over the years. It got better. Many bugs were squashed. Many new additions to the game were great. The game itself has several new innovations, like being able to switch your attachments after spawning. This is really thinking outside the box here. So it's really quite saddening to see that the best thing EA can come up with a game that was actually redeeming itself, it was on the verge of greatness, the best thing that EA can come up with is saying, fuck this game, we're going to get another Battlefield, which is slated to come in 2025, and I'm going to use my prophetic abilities right now to say that that Battlefield is actually going to launch in the same state as Battlefield 2042, will take several years to redeem itself, and again will be on the verge of redeeming itself, with the community finally coming back together and the servers finally filling with actual human players and not half of them are made from bots. And just when they get to that point, again they will cancel it and will make another Battlefield game. This is really saddening to see that the best thing EA could come up with is cancel a product that was on the verge of being successful in order to give us another shitty product that is going to fail. I'm honestly 100% sure that the next Battlefield game is going to launch the same as Battlefield 2042. We shall wait and see, but this is the first example of a company so stupid that it literally snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Got amazing rope, please. When have you ever called 911 because of rope? You don't have the most famous superhero. No, totally. We got Grand Spider Hero City War. What the hell? That look like Tom Holland cousin, Tom Denmark. Well, this one's actually available on the biggest console, Sony. Phony! They're becoming self-aware.
The next example that I have for you is, of course, the Helldivers 2 ESN debacle. Helldivers 2 is a PvE game, if you're unfamiliar with it, that takes four players, drops them into a randomly generated map, doing randomly generated objectives, and eventually extracting from this map back to their ships in high orbit, which also support them through the use of Eagle strike aircraft and orbital lasers and bombardments, and sending down supplies like ammo and support weapons and things like that. Very cool game. It actually sold well, too well in fact, because Sony was caught off guard by the amount of copies that the game has sold, and there were several issues in the first few weeks because, again, they did not compensate. They did not prepare for so many people to try and log into the game. And so Sony, they said that, of course, there is they said in the Steam store page that there is a PSN requirement, PSN account requirement. But when you log into the game, you see that message, and there is an option that says skip. And so you skip it and you play the game. Now Sony, they simply did not tell anybody that this non-mandatory PSN account is ever going to become mandatory. And this is why I believe they actually fooled everyone, because I don't know, I think they had this sort of a greedy moment where the execs of Sony, they were like, how are we going to make more money out of this? Like, we already sold 8 million copies, as if that's not enough money for a corporation. 8 million copies in 3 months, not enough. Need more money, need more money. So one exec, he came up and he said, well, I know, let's force everyone to have a PSN account. Fantastic idea. Good job. You're promoted. I don't know. I think that's how that meeting went. And so Sony, they came at the start of the month and said, well, that grace period is coming to an end. And this really made people come out with torches and pitchforks on this game and torch the reviews on Steam. And there are 3 main reasons why they did it. Firstly, PSN is not available in many countries. 69 countries. It is available in 69 countries, I believe, and the rest are actually fucked. If you don't live in one of those 69 countries, if you don't live there, then you're fucked, essentially. And Sony, I cannot imagine that nobody in Sony thought what are the repercussions of such a move. I actually positively think they did this on purpose. There is absolutely no way that they did not know what the repercussions of such a move would do. I think they knew all along, and they just tried to go with it, tried to see if the game sells good or not. And if it did not sell well, okay, then it's not supposed to be mandatory. But because the game sold well, they did this move. And so firstly, again, PSN account, PSN access is unavailable in many countries. This means, and I really honestly believe that they knew, which means that they not only that they fooled the customers who bought the game in countries that do not have a PSN, they took their money knowing that these people will not be able to access the game in the future, and they did not say a goddamn thing about it, not a goddamn warning that PSN will become mandatory in the future. They took these people's money and they smiled and they said thank you, knowing that these people will not be able to play the game in the future. Not only that, but they also fooled Steam, because the day that Sony came up with the announcement, Steam did a huge block list of countries who are now unable to buy Helldivers 2 because of the PSN requirement, because they don't have PSN access. So they even fooled Steam over this, because I know Steam would not have allowed this to happen if Steam knew from the beginning that PSN account is absolutely mandatory. I know for a certain, I am sure of it, that Steam will not let this through. The fact is that they also did this for Ghost of Tsushima, where they made this huge block list. If you go to the store page, the Steam store page of Ghost of Tsushima right now, and you look at it, you will see a huge block list of countries unable to buy Ghost of Tsushima on Steam, despite the fact that Sony was apparently so spooked of the backlash that the developers of Ghost of Tsushima had to come out with an announcement saying that you can play the game on single player without a PSN account. So they had to make that clarification just so that there won't be backlash against that game as well, because Sony said that there is going to be a mandatory PSN account requirement for Ghost of Tsushima. So reason number one, PSN not available in many countries. Reason number two, well, I'm going to show it right now. PSN has a lousy history of data security. In 2011, 77 million accounts were hacked, leaked, people's private information, bank accounts, credit card information, addresses, everything got leaked. These people were doxxed over this just because they thought they can trust PSN's data security so that this thing won't happen. And the absolute mind-boggling thing about this is that it happened several times. Yeah, you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They were hacked once. Okay. How is it though that they were hacked several times over the last decade? What about data security? Most of the companies that go through such an event make sure they pay for top-notch data security firms in order to prevent this thing from ever happening again. So, I don't know who Sony pays for their data security, but they're apparently not doing their job well. So, it is not surprising that many people simply don't want to have their personal information on PSN and therefore don't want to create an account. They simply don't want to get doxxed over this. Third reason, my own personal reason why they're doing it, is because they want to inflate the numbers of traffic into PSN. There is a certain margin, a statistical fact in marketing, where there is a small percentage, however it may be. It could be 2%, it could be 5%, it could be 10%, it doesn't matter. There is a small percentage though, that if someone goes into a store, he will probably buy something. And if you know that percentage, then you can sort of predict, or you can have some, let's say, an estimation, a sort of an estimation. How many sales are you going to make? So you take that small percentage, let's say even 5%, but you apply that number to 8 million customers, and you see that this in turn translates to tens of thousands of new game sales, microtransaction sales. I don't know, I'm not familiar much with the PSN store, but again, this small margin on such a large number equals many hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of new sales on on PSN, which leads to more money for Sony. So at the end of it, what they really wanted is just more money. 8 million copies, again, in just 3 months, is not enough money for Sony. They wanted more money. They wanted to increase their profit margins. They wanted more sales in PSN, and they wanted more traffic in PSN, so that they could dangle these numbers in front of investors and shareholders and show them that they are, woohoo, look at us, we're such a successful company, invest here, right here, invest your money, give us your money, give us that money. So this is in the end what they wanted. This is absolute corporate bullshit in its highest form, in its purest form, and this is why people have pushed back on this, because we saw it. It was so obvious. Why are they doing it? That we're so used on PC for corporate bullshit trying to being shoved down our throats that we see this thing at a kilometer away for what it truly is. And so I am really glad that they backtracked from this requirement for PSN, at least for Helldivers. I don't think we've seen the last of them yet. You've seen The Last of Us. So I don't think we've seen the last of Sony's greedy corporate bullshit yet. So we'll have to keep our eyes open. But this is example number 2 of a corporation who had a great product in its hand, but out of its stupid greed, almost destroyed it and was really on the verge of snatching failure from the jaws of victory. Okay, so the last game that I want to talk about is, of course, Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is a sort of a niche on its own. It is an extraction shooter, sort of like battleground or battle royale kind of game that came out in 2017. I started hearing about it in 2017, but from the footage I saw, the gameplay footage I saw, it really gave me that vibe of Stalker or Metro in terms of the desolate wastelands that you're treading through, which is more realistic than compared to PUBG and Fortnite at the time, and it really is a sort of a niche on its own. So this kind of games, they tend to create a loyal community around them, just like, let's say, Arma, that keeps the game going and supports the developers. So this thing again happened here, and so I went to the purchase page of Tarkov, and I saw that the most standard edition costs $50. This isn't cheap, but it's kind of reasonable. But from what I gather, there is the Ultimate Edition that from the forums of the Escape from Tarkov site, there was an Ultimate Edition. It was called Edge of Darkness, and they stopped selling it in 2024, in February of 2024, in order to promote a new Ultimate Edition to the game. That Ultimate Edition is the Unheard Edition. Now, from what I gather, the most requested game mode by the community is PvE, or a PvE co-op mode. And the devs, they answered. Now, just a quick rewind. In the Edge of Darkness, they said that anyone who buys that edition, which costed $150, they will get free access to all subsequent DLCs as a season pass. $150 is quite steep in terms of not even Ubisoft are that brave to ask for $150 from their new Star Wars game Ultimate Edition. That Ultimate Edition would cost $130. So already these devs are brave enough to actually sell their digital Ultimate Edition $20 higher than the competition. So this is a red flag for me, because this gives me an insight as to how the devs look at their players. And you might want to sit down right now, because if you haven't checked it out, the Unheard Edition gives you access to the most requested game mode from the customers, and that is a PvE. A PvE co-op mode with persistent progression. Progression will not reset with wipes. This is what the Unheard Edition promises you. They also promise free access to all subsequent DLCs. So they already changed the terms. They already changed what you're getting. So this means that the Edge of Darkness players who bought for $150 the edition, they don't have access to the PvE mode. So already it's a sort of a breach of contract, because you promised all future subsequent DLCs. This means all future content for the game should be available to Edge of Darkness players as well. So Edge of Darkness players have already been fucked over by this. And this is not the end of it, because the Unheard Edition, or as the Ackman said, the Unheard of Edition, costs $250 to buy. $250. I don't remember seeing a game with a digital edition, meaning nothing physical being shipped to your house, like say the Fallout 76 Legendary Edition. Nothing of this sort. Only digital perks and digital upgrades and things like that for your game, with a price tag of $250. This is absurd. This is bullshit. This is outright extortion. It is extortion in your face. And I saw in one of the forums that the devs actually called anyone. They said, people asked them, what the fuck is this price tag? Are you kidding me? And they said only the true believers are going to buy the Unheard Edition. What the fuck is this? Is this the Catholic Church in 15th century Europe, where you have to donate to your church so that they won't behead you as a traitor and put your wife on the pyre? What the fuck? This is unacceptable. Escape from Tarkov players, if you are seeing this, drop that game. Give it negative reviews whenever possible. Post videos about how this game sucks, how the devs are literally extorting you in your face. The last two examples, Sony, they lied to their customers. EA, they lied to their customers. They are not lying to you. They are in your face extorting you for a price tag nobody in the entire gaming industry will ever or has ever put this kind of price tag on any of its games. I don't remember. I'm playing games for about 30 years now. I don't remember anything like this of a digital addition to a game. Nothing physical that comes to you, that comes out with a price tag of $250. Boycott this game. Look at how Helldivers players did it. Boycott it. Only then will these devs respect you as human beings, not as wallets that can be extorted. They go out through the forums, they see what you request the most, and then they put it in the next ultimate edition of the game. That ultimate edition of the game will cost $350. They are not afraid to literally extort you in the face, unless you do something about it. And this is why I think that they are ruining the community, the loyal community that kept this game going. They are ruining the community. They are literally splitting the community apart, because it will be made up of either people who can play co-op and people who can't play co-op. Their excuses of, no, we don't have the infrastructure for that, is pure bullshit. This is pure bullshit. So they are literally splitting the community apart. Just stop this. Stop playing this game. Do not give them that. Just drop this game. Only when this game, its reputation, the reviews, I don't know where you can leave a review for Tarkov. I really don't know, because Metacritic has no reviews in it for Tarkov, as far as I'm aware of. And this game is not on Steam, so you can't review bomb there. I don't know where you do it. Possibly you do it on YouTube, like I'm doing right now. Use the media. Use the platforms to wreck this game, destroy it, make it so that nobody plays this game, and only then will these devs respect you. Just like Sony, just like EA, only that, again, unlike those two, who are at least a little bit smart enough to avoid lawsuits by not extorting you in your face. These ones, they don't give a damn. So this has been the rant. Tell me in the comments what you think about it. Tell me in the comments what you think about these companies, these games, and leave a like and subscribe if you or if you made it this far. And that's it for this video. So I will see you in the next one.
Majority of sectors under our control.